friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and I'm super excited to be back today for another video because today is a video that I have been wanting to do for a very long time, and it's something that will help you guys get to know me better. And I loved seeing the questions that you guys put into my community tab here on YouTube. Guys, today we are doing a Q&A video all about my life as a reseller, my life in general. You guys had some really good questions, and I'm super excited to answer them for you. So if you guys have been wondering where I live, what my long-term plans are for my reselling business, how to actually make your sales take off, how to make daily sales, if you're wondering how to stay motivated when being a reseller, and there's so many other good questions we're gonna get to, then you were in the right place. So make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But let's jump into the first question. So this question is from JLG, and it is, what's your all-time favorite thrift store find? What is the most enjoyable part about being a reseller, and what is the most challenging thing? So that's 3 questions in one. The first question, what's your all-time favorite thrift store find? I would have to say it's pretty close right now between when I went into a Salvation Army 10 minutes before it closed. I found a pair of Christian Louboutin little Orlato flat sneakers. I bought them for $10. They were sitting next to a pair of sneakers from Kohl's that were $12.99. But I got a Christian Louboutin pair of shoes for $10, and I resold it last month for $380. So that was like a $300 profit that I made after all the cuts. So that was an amazing find. But my second favorite, or maybe it's my first favorite, it depends on if it's for reselling or for my own life. My last thrift haul I just put up. In that video, I've been looking for this very specific dresser from IKEA for months now. It's sold out. I've only found it on Facebook Marketplace, and it is still a couple hundred, like $150 to usually find it. And also, it just goes really quickly. But I found the exact dresser I was looking for $65 at a Goodwill that's really close to my house. So that was an amazing thrift store find. I love it. I love thrifting, and I love reselling. So that was my favorite thrift store find. Now, what's the most enjoyable part about being a reseller? For me, it is that I am my own boss. I don't have to go into a 9-to-5. I did do a 9-to-5. I worked in marketing for a stair supply company for about the first year after I graduated from college, and I absolutely hated it. I did not study marketing in school. It's just what I did when I graduated, and it was really soul crushing to me. I hated working a 9-to-5. I hated that I felt like I was tricking people into buying something that I didn't believe in. And so I knew that I never wanted to feel that way again. So what I find so enjoyable is I love seeing a piece that somebody else has discarded and seeing the beauty in it and seeing the value in it when somebody else has it. I love finding pieces that are worth something, not even monetarily sometimes, but just like that have so much value and have so much more life in them, and I see the value in them when other people don't. Like, that is honestly almost like spiritual to me. I love that about reselling because I am always looking to redeem a piece of clothing, and I think that's so fun. Redeem clothing, redeem home goods, you know, whatever it is I find. So that is really fun for me, and so that is probably the most enjoyable part, is being my own boss, and also always I'm able to go off and thrift during the day or do this or change my schedule if I want to. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy the freedom I have to be able to go to the thrift store whenever I want and to find pieces that are so cool but that don't fill up my own life. I am finding them to give to other people, you know? So super fun. I would say the most challenging thing about being a reseller oftentimes is that other people do not understand my career choice. For me, I was always a really high achiever in school, and it's always something I said that I wanted to go on and like get my master's, get my PhD, maybe be a professor, something like that. And it's hard for me sometimes when family members or friends don't understand why I would choose this instead of what I had said, you know, when I was 18 I would want to do, you know? So I think the most challenging thing is honestly other people's opinions and learning to just kind of let them go, even if it's somebody that's really close to you and they think, I get this a lot. I feel like I get this sentiment a lot from some people I know, is that I am stealing from the poor. And that is its whole own video concept. But even though that is a challenge to this job and feeling like some people don't fully understand what I do, it's also kind of fun because I can educate people too. So the challenge is also a good thing, but also it's kind of hard when a sister or a friend doesn't really understand or doesn't support what you're doing. So dang, JLG, that was a good slew of questions. Let's move on to the next one. And this question was from Breppy O, and she or he I'm assuming it's a she, asked, how long did it take you to actually start selling things regularly? I listed a bunch of old stuff that's good quality, similar brands that just don't fit anymore, and I've sold 4 things in 1 week. LOL. Good for you, Bruppy. That is not usually the case for people that are just starting off on Poshmark. Maybe you're not just starting off, but how long does it actually take you to start selling things regularly? I get asked this quite often in my comments on my videos. It takes a while. It does. So if you are wanting to sell things regularly and you want to start turning this into either a part-time job or a full-time job, then you need to start today, because you have to think a couple months down the road. So once you start listing things, it's going to be quite a few weeks probably before you start making really good sales, and make them consistently. So if you're just starting out and you have about 10 items in your closet, let's say around there. If you're just selling things from your own closet, it's going to take a long time for you to sell when you only have 10 items listed, most likely, unless they're a really in-demand, high-demand brand. And this goes hand in hand with another question too. So let's answer them both at the same time. By Susan, she says, I want to know what to do to make my sales take off. I'm a newbie. I've only been selling for a month, but I'm ready for daily sales. What can I do to have daily sales? And she says she's posting 8 to 10 items per day. So that's a wonderful, wonderful place to start for sure. So I think I'm gonna make a whole video on this concept of how to actually get to the point where you're making daily sales and your sales are taking off. Because it's a hard thing. You're not always going to make daily sales even as a full-time reseller. If you guys would like to see a video explaining how to do that, please let me know in the comments down below. But what I would suggest is start now, start with what you have. So start with all the pieces that you already have and get them listed as quickly as possible. And even if it's not regimented, like I'm going to list 2 items today, 2 items tomorrow, 2 items the next day, I would say whatever you have, get it up as quickly as possible if you're just starting out. And then once you have about 100 items, then I would start listing a set amount per day, something like that. So you want to make sure that you are constantly adding things into your closet and constantly sharing those items, because that will push things to the top of the feed for anybody who is looking for a specific item. I would say if you have something like 100 listings, you should start making daily sales probably after just a few months. I would say 3 months in, maybe you could start making daily sales as long as you're getting enough listings put up. And that's the thing. When you start selling more and more items, you have to replenish what you're selling with more items. So if you sold 5 items in the weekend, then you better believe you need to list at least 5 items come Monday. If you want to make daily sales, you have to have a constant flow of things into your closet. That is not a very holistic answer. That is just kind of like a little tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of things you can do. Mainly, you need to get your total active listings in your closet up, and 2, you've got to share them constantly. I know there's a lot of people that use bots out there. I do not use a bot. I am a firm believer that bots go against Poshmark's different rules and regulations, and I follow them. So I would use my own fingers and I would share those listings if I were you. So those are my brief answers. If you want to see a more in-depth answer, a more in-depth video, let me know in the comments. Now, this next question is a very good one. This is from Mindy Lou, and it's simply, what keeps you motivated? Now, we've talked about the positives of being a reseller in that I'm my own boss and I get to run around and do whatever I want. I would say all the time I am super motivated to go out and thrift new items. What I am not always motivated to do is to take pictures of the items and to list the items. So I would say, at least for me, what keeps me motivated is the parts of the job that I really love. So I love filming these videos and interacting with my YouTube community. This fulfills a really big part of my life. And then I also am really motivated by selling the actual items and by discovering them, so thrifting them. So in order to keep myself motivated for the parts that aren't as enjoyable, like taking pictures, something that makes me really motivated in general is that I try to look at my business as often as I can with a sense of gratitude. And I am constantly trying to remain thankful for this business that I have, thankful that I'm able to do this, thankful that I don't have to go into a 9-to-5, because I know how much that was hard for me to do. So the more I look at things with that grateful mindset, the more motivated I feel like I am, because when I'm focusing on the good things about it, then the other things become a little bit easier to deal with. And also when I'm really thankful for this thing that I get to do, then I feel much more able and willing to work towards doing it more. So my next question is from Christina Galloway, and she says, I know you're a fellow Hoosier, but where do you live now? I grew up in Indiana. Jeremy and I both did. I grew up in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area. Jeremy grew up in like Bremen, Mishawaka area, and we met at college. So he and I grew up in Indiana, but after college, he moved out to Maryland to work for the government. So now he and I both live out here. When we got married, I moved out here to join him. So I live in Maryland. Jeremy and I just bought a house in Maryland, but a lot of our family, all of our family basically, lives in Indiana. So we have a lot of ties to the Hoosier state and we love it. And hopefully someday we'll move back towards the Midwest. But for right now, we are here in Maryland. So my next question, Yvette Peterson asks, where did you and Jeremy meet? And does your father like to thrift also? So let's start with my dad. That's a very easy question. No, he does not like to thrift. He does not like to shop. Growing up, he would just like lay in the front seat of the car, like lean the seat back and like turn on the radio while me, my sisters, or my mom went into stores to thrift or to shop. He does not like to thrift. He is done in like 5 minutes. So no, he does not like to thrift. Did not inherit it from my dad. I think you're asking this probably because my mom and I go thrifting quite a bit. No, definitely not my dad's thing. But where did you and Jeremy meet? Such a freaking cute story. I might need to film a whole video on it. But the easy answer is Jeremy and I met in college. He and I both went to Bethel College in Mishawaka, Indiana. And he remembers seeing me for the first time. I don't remember seeing him, but he saw me his very first day on campus. He transferred in, so we're the same grade, but I was helping out with freshman orientation and he was a new freshman. He saw me, he remembers it. It's very cute. There's a long story of him pursuing me and being very sneaky in order to get to know me. I'll give you like the 30-second version is that Jeremy bought a textbook for a class he did not need in order to meet me because I was selling the textbook. So he met me and then he started Facebook messaging me and eventually we were at the same summer camp as counselors and he hid his water bottle in my van so that when we got back to college, I would have to meet up with him to give it back to him because he wanted to keep getting to know me. It's a very adorable story. So I'll tell you guys the whole thing sometime if you'd like to hear it. But let's just leave it at that for now. Jeremy and I met in college and we dated for 4 years before we got engaged. We got engaged on July 7th. Yeah, July 7th of 2020. We were going to get engaged sooner, but our ring got caught in the COVID cycle. And then we got married 1 month later in August 8th of 2020. So we were engaged for 1 month and 1 day. So that's Jeremy and I. Jeremy's my husband in case you missed that part of the story. I don't know how you would have missed it at this point, but that is him and me and I love him dearly. And we're really happy here in Maryland and we have one puppy whose name is Otis. Jeremy and I both worked at the same library at college, the Otis Bowen Library, and we named our dog Otis after that library that we met in. So super adorable story, I know. Now we have a big hefty question coming up, so I'm gonna answer another shorter one right before it. Letitia's Thrifted Closet. She says, do you still list items if they are in a different season? And the short answer is yes, definitely list items all year round. Sometimes they'll sit for a while, but if you have them listed, you're gonna do better than if you just have them sitting around. So I would list items all year round. And sometimes people are going on vacation to a very different climate than the one that they are currently in. And so they might need a swimsuit or they might need a coat for where they're going. So I have sold things in all seasons at all times of year. You generally sell more items that are related to the current season that you are in, but it is not unheard of to sell things all year round. So I would definitely pick things up, especially if you find an amazing deal or an amazing piece. I would pick that up all year round. Now, this next question is a doozy. This is from Gail Schneider, and she asks, do you have a long-term plan for your reselling business? Or like a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, planning any pivots, new methods or tools, new platforms, or plans or goals involving an accounting term like ROI, average sale price, sell-through rate, sales per week? Maybe if you just have a figure in mind where you know this is a viable long-term full-time job. I am curious about the trajectory of being a full-time reseller and what people focus on most to lead to success, and it seems like you're pretty strategic when you source. So for me, I don't like to have written down plans, and that is terrible. If you are that kind of person, I applaud you. Jeremy is that kind of person. Jeremy is the kind of person that has lots and lots of different spreadsheets and that kind of thing. He was a business student. I studied intercultural studies and sociology. So like, that's not how my brain works, but I do have those sorts of numbers in my mind of what I'm looking for. So as regards to like having a long-term plan for my reselling business, my long-term plan involves a lot of smaller steps that build up to hopefully a big success in the future. So my plan right now, I'm looking to actually increase my total number of active listings, and that is how you increase your number of daily sales people. I'm looking to increase it from around 500 active listings to 750. So that is going to be a little bit of a process. It's probably going to take me a few months, but one of the things I want to do in order to get to that point is to hire on somebody to work for me, somebody that can help me do some of the processes that are just like more time intensive, labor intensive, like taking pictures, like maybe helping me find things to ship out, so that I don't have to worry about those pieces and I can focus more on the sourcing and the listing, which are things that I really enjoy doing. I can focus on sharing. I don't mind sharing my closet. It's actually kind of fun for me. So in order to hit those kind of bigger goals, so in order to hit increasing my listings, I have other things in place that are helping me get to that point. You know what I mean? So this is a very techie and technical question, and I'm sorry my answer is not going to be that way. It's just not how my mind works. But for me, when you talk about average sales price and return on investment, the ROI, things like that, I like to have general ideas in my mind. So if I am going to go sourcing, if I'm going to go thrifting at a Goodwill, I'm going to have a different average sales price in my mind than if I'm going to thrift at the bins. So for something at Goodwill, if I'm going to be paying $5 to $10 for something, I want to sell it for at least probably like $50. That's pretty much my minimum price I'm willing to sell something for, unless it's something I enjoy selling. Like a Madewell piece, then I might sell it for $35 and be okay with that. But it has to be something that I love. So if I am looking for an average sales price of around $50, my return on my investment, if I spend $5, is looking about like 8xing my money. So I want to do at least a 5x, probably more like an 8x on something I pick up from the actual Goodwill itself. But if I'm picking something up from a Goodwill outlet, the Goodwill bins, where you're paying per pound for your item, so things are a lot less expensive, more like $1 to $3 per item, then I am okay with making 10x on my money from that sort of place. I generally only want to pick up pieces that I can sell for at least $25. So if I am buying something there for $2, but I only pick up things around $25 to $35 if they're really cute and they catch my eye and I see the value in them, something that I enjoy doing. That's my most enjoyable part of reselling, is looking for the value and beauty in things that other people miss. And then if I can, I would hopefully find more things that sell for the $50 range. But that is not always possible when I'm digging through bins. So that is kind of my outlook. Especially going forward, I want to find more and more pieces that sell for more. And that is what everybody, I feel like, tries to do. It depends on what area you live in. You can base a model off of buying lots and lots of items that only sell for around $20 max. And you just have to have a lot more things listed. So a lot of the key to all of these strategies is kind of knowing what things you can pick up. In my area, I can pick up things that are a little bit more expensive, or things that will resell for around $50 to $100, because I live in a little bit more of an affluent part of the country. If you're in some small town in the Midwest like I grew up in, then you're not gonna be able to probably find as many high-end pieces like that. So then you would just change your business model to find lots and lots of pieces that are less expensive. So that's kind of like, that goes along with how to increase your sales as well. But I think the crux of this too is, how do you know if full-time reselling is a viable career? And for me, it looks different from somebody who's single probably. So Jeremy, he has a good job and he works full-time, a 9 to 5. And so we have health insurance through his job. The burden of those sorts of things is not on me. So I really am able to take the time to really build this business and also this YouTube career, because we don't have that financial stress on us that we have to be making X a number of dollars from this business. But my goal is, I would love to be making at least $1,000 in sales per week. So for a month with 4 weeks, $4,000 in sales is my goal for right now. But in the long term, I think going up to like maybe 8,000, 6,000 to 8,000 would be amazing. But if I were to go towards something that big, I would realize that I would need to have more help under me. I would need to have some sort of assistant to help me take pictures and do things like that. That was a lot of information. I hope that answered your question, Gail. I know there's a lot that went into your question, and so hopefully I answered at least a small piece of it. So I'm not gonna have time to answer every single question that I was asked, but I do have one more, and this is from Monica. How many hours a day do you put into your business? Do you and Jeremy work together? And what do the two of you do for fun? So how many hours a day do you put into your business? I put in a lot of hours, guys. Like this is where it gets a little bit dicier, a little bit more confusing, because my business isn't just the Poshmark, it's also YouTube. So I would say for Poshmark itself, I probably put in about 6 hours a day into doing things for Poshmark. And then I would say I put in, it depends on the day, but about 3 hours a day for YouTube. So that is filming, that's editing, that is sharing my clothing in my closet, that's taking pictures, that's listing, that's doing a lot of different things. I would say the majority of weeks I am working 6 to 7 days a week, where I am either working a few hours on the weekend on some different days because I post videos on Sunday, so I need to have things up the day before, or I need to make sure I'm replying to comments on Sunday. I would say I work a lot. I don't know if there's a specific hour for it because my hours are so crazy and scattered and I do lots of different things in between. But man, I work a lot and I don't want to be doing that. So that's something I want to work to fix. Do you and Jeremy work together? We do. Jeremy helps me out a freaking a lot. Even before we started filming this video, Jeremy came over and we wrote down which questions we wanted to answer in which order, and he gave me his thoughts on the video. And he does a lot of our cross-listing for 4 different items on Poshmark. He enjoys the business side of our business and he enjoys helping me. So he helps me out a lot with Poshmark and with YouTube in general. He actually really enjoys it. And maybe eventually we'll do this together full time. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities. But yeah, Jeremy helps me out a lot and he does a lot with me, especially too, like on the weekends when he doesn't have his full-time job. I would say for fun, Jeremy and I really enjoy hiking, and that's something nice about where we live. We are able to go outdoors. We take Otis on walks every day, and we just really enjoy doing just kind of low-key things together. I enjoy going out and doing things. Jeremy likes to stay in, so we usually compromise and we do some sort of food from a local restaurant, and then we'll also like bring it inside and then we'll watch anime or something he wants to watch, you know? We also like to go to the movies, do some sort of fun things like that. Maybe we'll go to a pumpkin patch here in a few days, who knows? So that's what we kind of like to do for fun. But those are all the questions I'm going to answer today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I gave you some answers that you've been looking for. I mean, if not, leave some more questions down below and we can film a part 2 to this at some point. I hope you guys enjoyed this little view into my life, into my reselling business. Hopefully you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed answering them and seeing all the questions coming in. It was really fun for me. So if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you are not already subscribed, consider subscribing before you go. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.